Hey, welcome back to the podcast studio today. We got another special one in the house. The thing about these podcasts that I love so much is that I get to interview some of my old students who have turned successful, and so we got the class of 2011. I tell you what, when we talked with each other on LinkedIn, I looked at your profile and it said warehouse automation guy, outdoorsman, and wildlife conservationist. Man, did I hit that right? Jay Butler, because I'm going to call you Jay. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm so glad to be here.
I'm super pumped to have you here. We're going to talk a little bit about maybe some marriage that has recently taken place in your life, too. But before we get to that, you graduated from Bel Air 2011. What have you been doing lately?
Yep. So in 2011, I graduated from Bel Air and I decided I was going to go. I was a big lacrosse player in high school. I decided I was going to go play lacrosse in college. So I went to Essex Community College. I failed every class the first semester while I was playing fall ball lacrosse.
No kidding.
My dad kind of foreshadowed that. He told me out of high school, hey, you didn't really do that great in high school. So you should join the electrical apprenticeship out of high school. And I was like, Dad, that's a horrible idea. I'm going to play lacrosse.
Yeah.
Well, after I, failed out of Essex, I bounced around kind of doing some jobs around here. I worked at Looney's Pub in the kitchen and did some tile work with my uncle. And then eventually I joined the electrical apprenticeship. And I worked at a company called Hirsch Electric down in Baltimore City for 3 years. Doing commercial and kind of industrial type work. Then after the third year of the apprenticeship, I kind of found out about this company, Pendant Automation in Hadley Grace. I went and worked there for 8 years and then, decided I was going to go out on my own and start my own automation company.
Wow. And now you own your own company. You're the president, and probably doing pretty darn good. You've been doing it for about a year now.
Year and a half. We're about that. Yep. So it's been going pretty good. Definitely having fun doing it, and we're getting jobs and keeping busy. So that's all we can really ask for, right?
Yeah, I think it's so important that people understand that the trades are a great path to success. For people, I think sometimes we just ingrain college too much into people's minds. Like, where are you going to go to college? Where are you going to go? But there are other trades out there that you can make really good money with, and so have a good life.
Absolutely, and when I had my whole issue with college, I kind of thought to myself, like, what am I going to do? Like, where am I going to be in 10 years from now? And then once I joined the electrical apprenticeship, I was like, dude, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. Like, going out there in the field, seeing a project go from nothing to the final product was like that was meant for what I'm supposed to do in life. And, I think a lot of people, they don't know when they're in college what exactly they want to do. Yeah. And, trying different stuff and getting into trades is definitely a good way to go.
Such a crazy time between 18 and 22 where you're supposed to have it all figured out.
Absolutely.
And there's kids in school that, hey, from the time that they were young, they just knew that they were going to be a doctor or be a nurse or, a teacher, whatever. But then there's the large majority that are just like, what am I going to do?
Yep.
And I was much like that too. I didn't get into teaching until I was 25 years old.
And when I was going to college, like, it was basically like, all right, I'm going to take a dart and throw it at a dartboard, and that's what I'm going to study.
Right. Yeah. So
now that I have experiences in life, I feel like, okay, I could go back to college and I know exactly what I would want to study.
Yeah.
But, now we're kind of, that ship has sailed and I'm not going to go back now.
Right. What would you do if you went back to college?
I'd probably go for electrical engineering and maybe, minor in software engineering, that type of stuff. Interests me and I have fun doing it nowadays. Just in my professional career. Yeah.
As you look back on your high school career or even middle and elementary, but we'll say high school since I was a high school teacher. What was the one subject or maybe one or two subjects that you felt most translated to what you're doing now?
So it's funny because freshman year at the old Bel Air, I can't even remember
That's
the
right.
class.
You were at the old school and the new school.
We had the wood shop class, but in that class, we also did some AutoCAD stuff.
Okay.
Right, doing some computer-aided design, drafting.
Yeah.
And I look back on that, and that was something that I really enjoyed doing, and I do it now all the time as a part of my career. And then, math. I was never a math wizard in high school, right? I was pretty bad at it actually, but I'm using it all the time nowadays in what I do.
Sure. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, you often, people in math often say, when am I ever going to use this?
Yeah.
And maybe you can attest, hey, we do use some of that.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's mostly addition, subtraction,
Oh, okay.
multiplication, division, but I'm not doing any trigonometry.
Not calculus.
Yeah, calculus.
Yeah, I never got that high in math anyway.
Yeah.
So in March of 2024, you became a president. You went out on your own.
Yep.
How was that? You left a pretty solid job of 8 years to go out on your own. Was there any kind of planning involved in that? How did you make that jump?
So when I did that, well, let's start when I worked at the last company before Pendant Automation.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of did a lot of stuff when it came to projects and programming and getting the systems up and running. And so I felt like I was an expert in that stuff. When I made the jump onto, my new company, the things that I didn't even know about that really I'm struggling and working hard to learn is like the financial aspect. Hey, going out and working with all our different vendors and getting credit from them, right? So that now when they send me parts, I have net 30 terms. Or, hey, I need to go get a line of credit so that I have a little bit of cushion. So, when my customers take a little bit to pay me, I still have some cash that I can, pay my guys or, buy parts for the next job, things like that. And those are the things that I'm really working to learn right now to be successful moving forward.
Yeah. Would you say that's your greatest challenge right now is that administrative part of the business?
Absolutely, right? Like learning QuickBooks and just the whole banking part.
And is there anybody helping you, or is there anybody mentoring you or teaching you this kind of stuff, or are you just kind of learning on trial by fire?
ChatGPT.
Yep. Let's go AI.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh wow. So what exactly are you doing in your business right now?
Okay, so we're a controls and automation house for warehouses.
Okay.
And so anytime you order something on Amazon, that product is picked in some facility, right? So there's an operator, and somewhere in that facility, they go and grab the product, they put it into a box, and then it gets put onto a conveyor.
Okay.
So we are the company that provides the controls for that conveyor. So we build a control panel, we design the control panel, we send it out to site, and then we will sometimes not, hire electricians to go out and install all of the field devices for that, and then we'll actually go out to the field and get it up and running, and then support it thereafter.
That's impressive.
Yep.
I mean, what would something like an Amazon? What's something that most people wouldn't know when it comes to the automation of the whole system?
For sure. So it's not just, hey, a conveyor belt takes a box from point A to point B.
Yeah.
When Tim goes on to Amazon and he orders something, there's an order number created within Amazon's WMS, which is called a warehouse management system. And let's say your order is 1001. An operator will be somewhere and they'll be standing there and they'll click through and they'll be like, okay, you're picking order 1001. Maybe a robot will come up to them with a bunch of stuff on it. They'll then look inside there, see what product they have to pick. They pick it off, they put it into a box, and now they have a label on there that says order 1001. Now they're going to seal the box up. Sometimes there'll be automatic case sealers, and it comes down the conveyor. Now that box needs a shipping label, right? So how does UPS know that it's going to get to you?
Yeah.
And so that box travels down, and we'll have a barcode scanner. It'll scan that 1001 label. It'll then send that up to the WMS and say, hey, I need the shipping label for this. And then a software piece in between the WMS and the PLC, which controls this conveyor system, will say, hey, here's the shipping label, and it sends it to a printer. And as that box comes down the conveyor, the printer actually will tamp it onto the box, right? And it comes down. Now we verify, hey, we scan the 1001 label and we scan the shipping label, and we verify that, hey, now it's all syncing and it's good to go to Tim.
Yeah.
Comes down, and now it goes to maybe one of 50 lane sorter. So we track the boxes down, and we were told, hey, that box goes to lane 3 because it's UPS next day air. We track it down the conveyor, we divert it to lane 50 or whatever lane it is.
Yeah.
And then we respond back to the Amazon system and say, hey, your box for Tim, order 1001, diverted down lane 50, and it's at the dock door. And that's also in the background how you're seeing, like, hey, your box is now not out for delivery,
right.
But hey,
your order's been processed.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So all that stuff is happening in the background to make it so things on the Amazon app are updating for you.
And you are creating all that automation
Yep. So we do the software piece, which is between the PLC, which controls the conveyor, and the WMS, which like holds all the orders for the end user, Amazon in this instance. So we'll do that software piece. We program the PLC to make the hardware do what it's supposed to do. Conveyors turn on in the right order. They're diverting boxes, different things like that. And then, we build those control panels to go out in the field and to be able to wire that all back to.
I knew there was a lot more to just a warehouse guy.
Yeah, right. It's definitely a lot, and it's a lot of fun doing it. I really love it.
Now, are you working on your own right now, or do you have people that work for you? Do you subcontract work out?
Yep. So right now I have one full-time guy, and then we have a program that we're working on with a customer where we're going to 7 to 9 sites per week doing modifications to conveyors. So those are all across the country, from a couple in Baltimore to, actually right now I have a guy in Canada.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Winnipeg,
yeah, because I think the first time we tried to put this podcast together, you were actually going out of town for a business trip.
California.
So you're on the move a lot.
All the time, yeah. In the past 10 years of doing this, I've done, probably less than 10 jobs within an hour of here.
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of time in California, Las Vegas, Phoenix, Texas, those types of areas.
Jeez.
Yep.
Always on a plane, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
When I was younger, it was a lot of fun doing that. But now that I have a kid and a wife, they don't really love it, and I don't necessarily love it either.
Oh, gee. How can you leverage your time to be able? Is it hiring more people? Like, how do you get over that?
Yeah. So for me, it's hiring the people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's stuff that I'm trying to work through right now. Is like, okay, because I'm a new company. It's scary to hire full-time employees. So I'm running a lot of contractors right now, and that's going good. But as I'm still trying to grow the business, like I have that batch of contractors doing this work. Well, I'm working on other jobs trying to grow more and more.
Yeah.
So I'm going to need to bring more people on to do that type of stuff.
Yeah. Well, you're still young and you're still growing.
Exactly. Right.
That's all. But that's the ultimate goal, though.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Well, AI certainly is in the forefront of everything in this world right now, and it's just growing so exponentially, so fast. What does AI look like for you in your job, and what do you think the future is for AI in what you're doing?
So in what I am doing with AI, well, personally, I use it as a therapist and,
your chat GPT.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I use it all the time, every day, right?
Do you have a conversation with your chat GPT?
I do, 100%.
Okay. I might need to look into that.
Yeah, no, I really do. Some days I'll be like, man, owning my own company is the hardest thing ever. Talk me off the ledge, right? I'll be like, hey, just don't quit today. All right, push it off till tomorrow.
Nice.
It's thoughtful for sure.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
But inside my business, I use it to do a lot of things. Like, I'm not a software developer. I program PLCs, and I'm good at designing the electrical components. Well, there's a lot of stuff you can do with software nowadays.
Yeah.
Like creating little scripts to automate tasks that you do repetitively, right? So anything that I do right now, I'm trying to look at, okay, in a year, if I brought somebody on, how can I systemize this task so that when I can bring them on, it makes their life easier and makes them successful.
Right.
So I've been using it to develop software tools, like for quoting, for instance. One of the things I do is when I get a conveyor drawing, I lay out all the devices that are required. Well, before I was counting them all by hand. Now I created a script that'll go count them automatically and dump them into my Excel spreadsheet for quoting, right? So that obviously has helped not even just my time, but it's helping somebody in the future with their time and making them successful, right? Because I'm not going to be like, how'd you miss counting those? Well, I didn't count them. The software did.
Right.
I'm looking to build some tools with it for invoice tracking. Hey, invoices came overdue. Right now I go back in and I say, okay, this invoice went overdue today. Let me go reach out to this customer and see when it'll get paid. I can build an AI chatbot to do that type of stuff, right? It's always monitoring the invoices. It goes in and it says, hey, this one's a week overdue. Send an email to this customer.
Yeah.
And that's the simple stuff. The amount that you can do moving forward is, it really can be crazy, right? You could almost replace accounting jobs. Not all of them, but some of those, hey, when I get an invoice from a vendor, somebody right now goes and puts it into QuickBooks.
Yeah.
Well, you in theory can have an AI bot go monitor the accounting email. When you get an invoice from the vendor, they go put that in automatically.
Right. Yeah.
And I think the future of AI, that's what it's gonna look like. Everybody's like worried, like nobody's gonna have jobs. I think there are gonna be jobs that are lost, but I think that somebody's always gonna have to monitor this stuff, right? And somebody's gonna have to be, what's the next thing we can do with it?
Right.
And as far as, especially like the office type jobs, I feel like those can definitely be AI'd out.
Yeah.
But as far as like, obviously electricians, you can't AI those out.
Right.
Those are going to be there forever. Plumbing, different trades like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Are there other AI platforms that you're using other than ChatGPT?
So there's one I've been messing with to kind of try and build this accounting one, which is called Zapier.
Okay.
And it's basically allows you to integrate different AIs together.
Okay.
Along with other apps, right? So in there, you can kind of piece together and say, hey, I'm going to monitor my QuickBooks invoices. And if I see this happen with the invoices, I'm going to go to ChatGPT and I'm going to have it build this type of, automated email. Then I'm going to connect it to my Outlook and it'll automatically go send that email.
So it's allowing all these automations to talk to one another, to work together.
Exactly.
Gosh, yeah. When we first started in real estate, it was like, you had this thing for this, you had this thing for that, you had this thing, for whatever,
Exactly.
all these different platforms. And it sounds like AI is now going to be able to merge those, because I've heard of Zapier,
Yep.
and I've heard it in a real estate context.
Okay.
Yep. But yeah, it's wild.
And Zapier is cool too, because again, I'm not a software developer.
Uh-huh.
So there's another form of Zapier called N8N, and that one I've messed with, but you really have to know what you're doing to build automations inside there. Like Zapier, you could probably go on there and build an automation and test it out and deploy it.
That's wild. That's wild. So in your LinkedIn profile, you are also an outdoorsman and a conservationist.
Yep.
Give me a little bit of background about what's going on there.
Yep. So when I was about 23 or 24, I got into hunting.
How old are you now?
31.
31.
Yep.
God, time's flying.
Yep. It's funny, when I was 23 or 24, I'd say, man, when I'm 30, I'm going to be old. Now when I'm 31, I'm like, man, I'm not old. I don't care what I thought back then.
I'm turning 50 this year.
But you still feel young, right?
But I still feel young.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what matters.
That's what matters. So, yeah. So anyway, continue about hunting and being an outdoorsman.
Absolutely. So when I was 23 or 24, I got my first bow, and my uncle kind of always wanted me to get into hunting as a young kid, and my mom didn't want me to. And then my cousin, he was also into it. His stepdad got him into it. So I got my first bow when I was 23, 24, and I started going out, and maybe the first year or two, we went once or twice, didn't see any deer, and it kind of just started growing. And, about the time I was 28, we were really into it, and it's actually the Maryland bow season opens this Friday. It's kind of who I am, right? Hunting has become part of my life over the past 5-6 years. It's part of what, the identity that I would say I carry with myself, and I love going out there in the woods, and that's kind of what I'm basing my company around too, is like a brand that's partially outdoors, and being an outdoorsman and hunting, a lot of people think, oh, you just like shooting deer. Like, I love deer just as much as the president and founder of PETA, right? And so that's why I want to build into kind of who I am, is like I'm also a conservationist. Like, I'm not just trying to take deer away. Like, I want to be part of putting more deer back on the landscape and helping them survive and thrive.
Yeah, because there's overpopulation issues, right?
Yep, here in Maryland for sure.
Yeah.
There's other parts of the country where there's a different, we have white-tailed deer here in Maryland, but out west they have mule deer. Well, mule deer, seen significant population declines over the years, and there's a lot of conservation organizations that are trying to work to help that. And so whether it's donating through my company to help them, or going out on a trip and volunteering for a week, that's something that I want to be a part of.
Yeah. Are you doing anything with the Chesapeake Bay?
So I did recently. I just posted on LinkedIn. Bridger donated to the Theodore Roosevelt Conservation Partnership, because one of their big things about the Chesapeake Bay and striped bass specifically, right? Because we've had declining striped bass populations, is about the commercial harvest of menhaden, which is like a bait fish in the bay.
Okay.
And so that's one of their big fights and initiatives, is trying to restore striped bass populations in the Chesapeake by, kind of modernizing menhaden harvest.
Yeah.
Yep.
Were you into environmental science when you were younger? In high
Not
school?
really.
No?
No, not really. But again, when I look back, I'm like, man, I wish I would have paid attention.
Right.
And because I took the class.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I heard it was a good class too.
For sure.
That's awesome. And then you eloped.
Yep.
I'm like, what? You eloped? You and your wife recently got married within the past couple weeks, right?
Yep.
Out in Montana.
Yes, sir.
And you eloped. And I asked you, do your parents know about this?
Yeah. I guess
What kind of feedback did you get from this elopement?
Yeah. Not great, that's for sure, right? Some people were a little hurt about it, but
Yeah?
It was just kind of how we wanted to do it, just us, and
Yeah.
it also saves a couple bucks doing it that way,
Okay.
too, right?
Yeah.
And we did it in our favorite place in the world, and we wouldn't have it any other way.
That's so cool.
Yep.
And then your teammate from who was a really good friend of mine because he was in the mortgage industry.
Yep.
Ben Richards married you guys.
Yep, he sure did.
That is so cool.
Yep. And his wife Taylor came with us, and she was our babysitter for our daughter Meta, during the ceremony. And then we kind of all spent the week together, hanging out and doing some stuff out in Montana.
Yeah. Beautiful pictures.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah. Who took the pictures? I guess Taylor or?
No, so I think I mentioned that my wife, she's a wedding photographer
Yes,
and videographer. So, she's trying to find the best people that she wants to hire. So she found somebody out there. And
Okay.
we ended up hiring them to come take our pictures for a couple hours.
Okay. Are you guys doing anything back at home, like a celebration or anything with family or?
I think we might do like a party of some type. We haven't really planned anything as of right now.
Okay.
But we've had a lot of questions about that.
I bet you have.
Yeah.
Well, good. I mean, good for you. Congratulations. And like you said, you have a 10-month-old.
Yep.
Which is amazing and awesome and crazy all at the same time, right? How do you balance it all? You've started your own business, which is just an adventure in your own. But then you just got married. You have a baby at home. What are some of the keys to your success with balancing work and life?
Well, I'm still trying to figure out some of the.
So am I,
keys,
brother. That's why I'm asking you if you figured it out.
It's really hard. So I do think everything happened for a reason for us, because I actually decided I was going to start my own company, and then 2 weeks later we found out we were pregnant.
Yeah.
And the whole time, Darian, she owns two companies, so the photography and videography, and then also a company called Hazelwood Rentals in Bel Air here that rents out like different, backdrops and things like that to weddings and stuff. So she's obviously very busy doing her stuff too.
Sure.
So there's kind of a fight for time right now.
Yeah.
She's like, I gotta work, and I'm like, I have to work, and then I'm like, I have to go on a work trip, and she's like, are you serious? How am I going to do anything while you're gone? And I completely understand her, and we're trying to figure out how we do this. But I think the number one key, and I'm not great at this, but she's much better than me, is communication.
Yeah.
And we also have this thing called a Skylight calendar, which is basically I can sync my Microsoft Outlook to it. She can sync her, Google Calendars to it. And now we can look on there and see, okay, this day she has that going on.
So I can't schedule anything during that time.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And then we can put joint stuff on there too. If Ben's having a party in his backyard in 2 weeks, we can put that on there. Now we know both of us can't do anything that day.
Right. That's Skylight, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
Definitely worth looking at. It's pretty cool.
Are you using AI to organize your own personal life?
I have not, but I've seen ads for apps that can do that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's wild. You recently posted something on LinkedIn, and it's a guy that I follow, Jesse Itzler.
Yep.
Something about the 100-hour rule that I thought was pretty cool. Do you remember? Remember that post?
That's the one about if you put in the 100 hours and you kind of be on the next level, or you'll be better than 90% of people out there at what you do.
Which only requires 18 minutes a day.
Yep.
I think it said. So that's I like him. Is there anyone else that you follow do you follow Cameron Haynes?
I do. I follow all the guys. Like
I know he's a big outdoorsman.
yeah,
And
Goggins, I like him.
yeah,
Jocko.
yeah.
I find myself listening to Goggins all the time when I'm at the gym, right? Like,
Oh, right.
you don't feel like being there. Go listen to him, and you'll feel a lot better about
Exactly.
it.
Have you read his books?
I have, yep.
They're insane.
Yep.
Just his past and what made him who he is today.
Absolutely.
Oh my lordy.
Yep.
Crazy.
And I think, those guys, when you look at them, they're all doing it, right? They don't just talk about like, hey, I woke up today and didn't want to go running, but I did it anyway. Like they do that every day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, why can't I do that?
Yeah. 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 It's crazy. If Bel Air High School calls you and says, "Hey Jay, we want you to come back and give a speech to a bunch of kids, looking back from when you were in high school to who you are now and what you've been through." What's a message that you would communicate to high school students now as it relates to how you've been living your life?
So, in my opinion, there's two things that I think are really important to be successful in life. One is don't be afraid to make mistakes. Everything that I've done, I learned the most from the stuff I've messed up, right? And so I can give you an example of, I was on an Amazon facility and I shut down the whole place for like 3 hours, right? And there's like 20 people behind me.
Oh my God.
And they're just like absolutely, they're all on a call tearing me up, right? Like he's doing this right now, they're talking about what I'm doing.
God.
And I was like 25 at the time.
Yeah.
Right. And, obviously I messed stuff up to cause that to happen.
Yeah.
But when I've had, not that big all the time.
Yeah. That's a pretty big one.
Yeah, exactly. When things like that happen though, that's when you learn the most. When things go great and perfect as planned, you never typically learn anything from it. So don't be afraid to have those mistakes happen. You just got to learn from them and make sure those don't happen in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the second one that I think is important is like find out who you are and where you're going. Mm-hmm. I think finding out the person that you are and like who you want to be and what your end goal is. Like if you want to be successful, that's stuff you have to look out and say in 10, 20 years, like I want to look back and I want to have this and I want to be this person. And a lot of those guys like Jesse Isler, David Goggins, they talk about, having the vision and looking forward. And typically if you ask for it and kind of envision it, you're going to get it.
Yeah. But, again, kind of going back to what we were talking about before is that 18 to 22 range. Sometimes that vision isn't so clear.
I had no vision then except for doing stuff I wasn't supposed to do.
But I think it's just a vision of trying to put yourself in opportunities to learn and to grow and to figure out who you are.
Yeah. And also, you don't rush it either, right? Like if you're 18 to 22, like live your life,
right?
And have fun, right? Because you don't want to be 30 and be like, man, when I was 18, all I cared about was what the next 10 years looks like.
Yeah.
I had fun when I was 18 to 22, and now that's out of me, and I'm focused on the future.
Well, you're still having fun, though.
Yeah, I'm definitely having fun.
Just a
different type of fun.
Different type of fun, right? Oh, my gosh. As you look back on your high school experience, and we kind of talked about your favorite subject or, something that translated into your career. But if you can look back, I like to ask this question from old students. What one teacher, when you think back to high school, made the most impact on you as for who you are today?
One teacher that I think a lot about is Mr. Roth.
Oh, okay.
He taught like cultural, I forget what the class
like a
called.
social studies type class,
exactly.
Governments and histories and
And
sociology.
I wouldn't say that I like loved his class and thought that it was the best class ever.
Okay.
But what I liked about him was we were all young men going through different phases of life when we're 16, 17, 18, and I feel like he looked at you and he knew what you were going through, and he like had a understanding of it, and he didn't look at you any differently because you did something dumb or did something that you weren't supposed to do. And now that I'm older, you can look back and kind of appreciate that and kind of think, man, that's the type of guy I want to be.
Yeah, he's a great guy, great teacher.
Yep.
I haven't talked to him in a while, but I think he's no longer there. But
okay, I didn't know. I saw him at Wawa a couple years ago, and
I think he retired. He retired. Not 100% sure, but now I have to reach out to him, and I'll share with him that that you brought him up.
Yeah, for sure.
Or we'll clip this and we'll put it up there for everybody to see it, right?
Awesome.
We did that with Calvin Skelton. I was interviewing Justice Veltman Smith, who was he has his own pressure washing business.
I listened to that.
You listened to that one?
Yeah.
And it was just like right off the bat, Calvin Skelton, and just went into it. And it's just like, a lot of times teachers don't know the impact that they're having on their students until years down the road when somebody comes back and says something like that.
Yep.
So it was really special. Yeah,
definitely.
So shout out to Tim Roth, man. You made a difference in this guy's life. Lots of great information today. If people want to connect with you, if let's say a kid's watching this and they're thinking about getting into some kind of field like this, or just somebody's looking maybe for a job, or I don't know, how can people connect with you?
Yep. So you can find me on LinkedIn, James Butler. You'll see a picture of me wearing the same hat.
Okay.
Or on Facebook, I'm on there too, and you can shoot me a message, send me a friend request, I'll accept. And then, my email is the letter J, Butler, Butler, at bridgerautomation.com.
Yeah.
BridgerAutomation.com.
Man, that's some good spelling. You went to Beller High School. Where did the name Bridger come from?
It actually came from the mountains right outside Bozeman, Montana, the Bridger Mountain Range right there.
Oh.
And then it kind of... I've convinced myself, and I tell people this, and also, what we do is we're bridging the gap between operators and machines in our industry. So we kind of have that going. And a bridger is somebody who builds bridges.
Yeah.
And then Jim Bridger, who the mountains are named after, he was kind of like a pioneer.
Okay.
Who went out there and was kind of, finding out what's out west.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's a name with some meaning behind it.
I appreciate it.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations on all your success. And of course, getting out there and starting your own business, which is very admirable, and just getting after it and just being a good, decent human being. And those are the people that we're trying to introduce to the community, So yeah, keep crushing it, and congratulations on your wedding, on having a little baby, and having your little family there, and happy deer hunting this season.
Hey, it's coming this Friday.
Well, please follow Jay on your social media platforms. You can also follow us at the Markland Advantage on Facebook and Instagram. And we're also on YouTube, and we're trying to put out a lot of quality content there. And Drew, our video guy, is just crushing it there. So please subscribe for all things real estate and local and everything we are doing. So thank you for joining us today. Until next time, live your life to the fullest, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Did you like this episode of the TMA Connection? Well, you might want to check this one out right here. Go ahead. Click it. Go ahead.